In brief, what I'm proposing, some of us are proposing, is the socialization of the power to create money. As we know, under capitalism or techno-feudalism, call it what you may, under the current system that we live in, and we've been living in it for 200 years now, private bankers have the monopoly over money creation. Over 96-97% of Canadian dollars are produced by privateers, not by the Central Bank of Canada, not by the Fed in the United States. And in the process, of course, if you have the capacity to mint money out of hot air, which is what the bankers do, then you decide where the money goes. And that is an exorbitant amount. And it creates speculation, it creates speculative bubbles, it creates crisis, it creates 2008. And then, of course, who pays the bill at the end? It's not them. They get bailed out, and it's austerity for the many. So how do you privatize this power to create money? Well, imagine the following. The central bank gives all of us, through the App Store, the iOS, App Store, Android, whatever, it gives us the capacity to download an app in the same way that you download an app from your private bank. It gives you a PIN, and you can tell your employer, put my salary in there. And that's a free bank account which you're holding with your country's central bank. So it's safe. It is yes. and it's free. And no fees. On top of that, suppose that you were going to get paid for the balance that you keep on this digital wallet, on this publicly owned digital wallet, the overnight interest rate of the central bank, which is going to be much greater than what you get for your at any private bank. Now, the key is this. As long as this becomes attractive and people start trusting this digital wallet provided by the monetary authorities of your country or your economic bloc in the case of the Eurozone, as you take $1 from your private bank account and you put it into this public digital wallet, because we know that private bankers use the so-called money multiplier. They take $1, real dollar, and through fractional reserve banking, they create 40, right?
That's definitely driven up real estate prices in Canada and everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, but when you take $1 from the private system and you put it on this public system, you are effectively reducing the amount of the money supply in the private system by $40 for every dollar that migrates to the public system, which means that the money supply would, if you did nothing else, it would shrink. And that's not a good thing because that's deflationary. Now that creates monetary space for the monetary commons to pay people in those digital wallets a dividend on a monthly basis. And you can adjust it to maintain the money supply constant. So essentially the system pays for itself, the basic income, the private personal dividend that we're talking about. Now, technically, this is straightforward. Politically, if you put it out there, you'll get nuked by vested interest, by the banking system, by big business who rely on the special relationship that they have with big finance to create money and give it to them. So it's a very, technically, it's just a tiny little step. You download an app from the App Store and you do things that you already do on your phone when you use your private bank account. But politically, it is a revolution. Socially, it's a revolution. Technologically, it's also a revolution. And it creates the circumstances for a personal dividend, for a basic income, which requires no taxes to be funded. Okay? It is anti-inflationary, or at least it's not inflationary. And in the final analysis, it stabilizes the macroeconomy because it reduces the speculative power and the speculative bubbles of the private sector, banking sector. And if needs be, if you need to stimulate the economy, you don't need to do quantitative easing. You don't need to print money and give it to the bankers. You simply increase the personal dividend, the basic income, which is simply done with a keystroke on the computer.